Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Joining me today is General Ravi Shankar, and we're going to be talking about the rise of India. I grew up, looking at pictures of Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister, inviting one foreign dignitary or the other, and there was always this mandatory demonstration of a snake charmer. And from there you see this one. This is Jacqueline Kennedy, and I don't know who is besides Nehru, but the lady there is Jacqueline Kennedy, and you can see that there is a snake charmer. This is how India was portrayed, at least till probably Nehru's time, 1960s. And then from there, India has slowly but steadily and methodically climbed the ranks, and now we have when India launched its first satellite, they said that, oh, now India wants to enter this elite space club. And I think this came in New York Times. I'm not 100% sure about that. If it was not New York Times, maybe it came on Washington Post. The point here is this must have really, got under the skin of the ISRO engineers, because they responded this way. And they had launched 104 satellites all in one shot. And you can see the tagline there: not only Mars, we can launch you till stars. And so now the ISRO and India has gone one step further, and India landed on the South Pole, where nobody else had landed before. And the claim is that South Pole has 15 feet of water. That's what it is showing there. But the progress has been quite dramatic in the last few years, and where it's going to stop and what are the other things that India needs to do to know all these things and more, let's welcome General Ravi Shankar. Before that, please like this video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. General Ravi Shankar, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskaram, and thanks a lot, Sri Ayerji, for welcoming me on the show. And as you know, it's been the norm. Both this is for both channels, Gunner Shot and P Gurus. So this is going to be a good show. I know it from my heart. And so I request everyone who's watching the show to subscribe both to P Gurus and Gunner Shot. In P Gurus, you get a larger bouquet of many other topics, but on Gunner Shot you get exclusively geopolitical affairs and defense affairs with the best in the country. Well, having said that, today's topic is very interesting: rise of India from snake charmers to world leaders. And I think you set the tone by putting those two cartoons. And my mind goes back to 1990. I was in staff college. I was doing in Wellington, and there this US team comes and they give a presentation. And they give a presentation when they talk about the future, and they say India and China are the future powers. And when there was a lieutenant colonel who came and gave this presentation, we were all majors, and he said that, the whole hall burst into laughter. We couldn't believe it. I mean, we thought he was joking, or probably he was telling just because he's come there, he has to include us. And we also didn't believe that China will be a power. I'm talking of 1990. And we were about 400 people in that hall, and absolutely we went berserk laughing. Then when the laughter died down, he said, "Sir, mark my words. Down the line, you're going to be a power." And today when I look back, there's something which others saw 30 years back or 33 years back, which we ourselves didn't see, which is something. Many times you have to believe in yourself to be a power. And it is only off late that we have started believing in ourselves. And that's why I thought, we should do this thing. And you have anything else to say? Otherwise, I'll run through a few slides and then we can discuss.
No, General Ravi Shankar. All I wanted to tell our viewers is, sometimes you guys ask us some very good questions. Like, for instance, you say, why are you doing all these things in pgurus.com? Your viewership has hardly anything. And then That is one side where they are asking me about my business model. On the other side, somebody says that you haven't got your vibhuti right. You've been wearing your vibhuti, but you don't wear it right. So all I want to tell our viewers is we never let a crisis go waste. Stay tuned on the vibhuti stuff. We'll come back to you on something. But more importantly, I forgot to mention that this was a joint Ganashot P Guru's presentation. My apologies, General Ravi Shankar.
That's okay.
This
No,
is
no, no,
your
it's okay.
initiative. I'm just here and enabling it. So we take turns in hosting it. It doesn't really matter. But the point I think what we are trying to make is, like General, he aptly, described what Ganashot does and what P Gurus does. I bow my head to you, sir. And now General has a small slideshow, and that's what's going to be the basis of his talk. I yield the floor to you, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, well, I can Sachin put the slides on. You know, this is a cartoon which I keep showing to many people. I've shown it on almost every this thing. It's a very important cartoon. It shows four people: Putin, uh, Xi Jinping, Biden, and Modi. Going at it and trying to at four corners of the world. What's important about this cartoon? This cartoon is uh, the imagination of the chief cartoonist of South China Morning Post. This is how the Chinese look at us. So this is very important. They feel that these are the four leaders who are going to be at the helm of the world affairs, right? And from this, I drew this kind of a quadrilateral where USA and India are at the opposite ends of this quadrilateral with attraction between them. China and Russia at the other end of the quadrilateral with attraction. And then, of course, USA is repulsed by China and Russia. India is repulsed by China. And we have some attraction with Russia. Of course, China, USA, I don't have to tell you. They're repulsed. And this, depending on how strong the attraction or the repulsion is at a point of time, this quadrilateral gets skewed, and that's how the balance of power shifts. And there's no doubt in my mind that India is emerging as a global balancing power. If you go back to that cartoon, I go back to this cartoon, that's what this man is telling you, that India has risen to be a global balancing power. And this came about 6 to 8 months back. I don't even remember when it came. I just downloaded it, kept it, and I keep using it. Okay. Now, why do I say India's rise is unstoppable? I felt it. So, look at Germany, Japan, and China. Into the World War and after the Vietnam War, all these three countries, which are ahead of us in economic terms, they're number 2, 3, and 4 behind USA, were aided economies. They never progressed on their own. They were aided. The tailwinds were behind them of USA and the West. They had a peace dividend. In Germany and Japan's case, it's almost 75 years since the Second World War, or even probably more, right? China, from the Vietnam War, 79, right? They also had about half a century of peace dividend. And when nations have a lot of peace, they tend to grow. Look at us. We've been an opposed economy. We were a command economy. We aligned with a superpower which doesn't exist anymore. We've gone through wars 48, 62, 65, 71, Kargil, and the proxy wars with Pakistan. It's still ongoing. We've gone through insurgencies in Northeast, Punjab, Kashmir. I mean, even that is ongoing today. You had been under multiple sanctions, whether it was after the nuclear tests, missile tests, whenever, even as recently as when we bought the S-400 from Russia, USA was thinking of putting us under sanctions. Still, we have progressed. Nothing can stop us. If we can progress with all this, what can stop us? It's only now, since about 2000, or maybe about 2010, that we have had some peace dividend. And we are still not an aided economy. We are in a neutral state, and we are on our own. And now people say, almost everyone, whether it's Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, or JCER, that is Japan Council of Economic Research, or Deutsche Bank, everyone says India's economy is likely to be at $7 trillion mark somewhere between 27 and 30. When you get to that 7 to 10 trillion mark, you're a big economy. You're a big player in the world. You matter. And this is unstoppable. If we get some tailwinds and we get some peace dividend, we are through. Okay. Will we get that? That's the first question. Look at this. This is where the conflicts are. Let's look westwards. Look westwards. Pakistan and Afghanistan are going into conflicts. From shackles of slavery, breaking shackles of slavery, they've gone back into the shackles of fighting with each other. And that is not going to change. Right? Go further, Israel Hamas war is on. Entire West Asia is involved. You have Russia also involved, USA involved, and China trying to edge its way in there. So there's a problem there. Go further. You look at Sudan, Niger, all these people have gone through some kind of turbulence. Conflict is on. Right? Go north, Ukraine, where the entire West, everyone is involved in this in some form, willy nilly. USA, Russia, all the great powers. Okay, let's look east. Immediately to your east, Myanmar is in turmoil, huge turmoil. There is some spillover into Manipur, but of late the spillover has started into China also. In fact, day before yesterday, I did a show on our neighborhood, and in the Shan state of China, or Shan state of Myanmar, which abuts China, there's problems, and China has closed its borders with Myanmar. So everyone thinks China is going to support Myanmar, Janta, ye, wo, all that. No, they're getting into problems. We live with it. Look further. South China Sea and Taiwan. Every day there's something happening. These days it's the problem is with Philippines. Philippines has cancelled contracts. They've been face-offs. They've been running over boats. Everything. There are uh, air violations over Taiwan. The works. And Japan is also willy-nilly involved in it. Japan has already said that we'll aid Philippines, we'll aid Taiwan. South Korea is also likely to come. And there is nuclearization happening there, increased. Today there's a debate in Japan and South Korea that should be nuclearized. And militarization. China has its hands full there. I don't think they'll ever come this side. And plus China has its own problems. It is in this kind of a condition that you see India on its own, with its small little neighbors, progressing. And this can't stop. And you get about 10 years more of this, you're in a different plane. Right? Yeah, Sachin, take the slides out. I have no more slides. Right. So this is what India is all about. And this is the basis of India's rise. In fact, this is the last point of the story. The story I have to start. But before I start the story, I'd like Shreya here. जी आप जरा बताइए आपका इसके ऊपर क्या सोच विचार है इससे पहले कि मैं rewind back and go back and retrace why we are here.
जनरल रविशंकर जी, आज जहां पर जिस स्थल पर भारत पहुंचा है, इसके लिए हम कई लोगों की कड़ी मेहनत को हमको देखना पड़ेगा। और मेरी एक ही ख्वाहिश है आपसे कि जब आप ये अपना इम्पोर्टेंट भाषण शुरू करेंगे तो हमें एक और क्या करना है, वो भी एक टू डू भी है हमारे पास लिस्ट। जो हमने हासिल किया है बहुत अच्छा किया है, लेकिन टू डू लिस्ट भी थोड़ा है। हम दोनों को देखते हैं कि एक बैलेंस व्यू देंगे कि आप ये जिंगो स्टिक नहीं है देवियों सज्जनों, ये जिंगो स्टिक नहीं है। हम जो देख रहे हैं वही आपको बताएंगे। आप तो जनरल रविशंकर को जानते हैं, आप तो मुझे जानते हैं। जो है, जो सच है वही दिखाएंगे। जनरल रविशंकर जी, दिस इज माय रिक्वेस्ट टू यू सर, ओवर टू यू।
या थैंक यू। तो अगर आप ये कहानी हमारा जो राइज का है, चढ़ाव, वो जाता है 90 का जमाने, 90 का दशक, 90 to 2000। वो हमारा राइज का नींव वहां लगा। वहां उस वक्त क्या हुआ, दो तीन इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हुए। एक, हमारा रिफॉर्म्स का सिलसिला शुरू हुआ थ्रू मिस्टर मनमोहन सिंह एंड पीवी नरसिम्हा राव। और जो राइट, दूसरा हमारा जो सॉफ्टवेयर का इंडस्ट्री शुरू हुआ उस वक्त 91 92 की बात है। और धीरे धीरे व्हाट हैव वी बिकम, वी हैव बिकम द वर्ल्ड्स बैक ऑफिस। यानी कि आउटसोर्सिंग वगैरह हुआ था, फ्रेंड शोरिंग, आउटसोर्सिंग, जो जो नाम बताइए उसका। सो हम वी बिकेम द वर्ल्ड्स बैक ऑफिस, जहां पूरा दुनिया का बाइक आता यहाँ खुलता था और यहाँ बंद होता था। ठीक। और आज क्या है, हम एक ग्लोबल एनेबलमेंट सेंटर बन गए हैं पिछले 30 साल में। ग्लोबल एनेबल सेंटर का मतलब क्या है, एनेबलमेंट सेंटर का, अभी जितने आप बड़े बड़े टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनीज देखते हो, आईबीएम हो या माइक्रोसॉफ्ट हो या कोई भी बड़ा, इनका एक मेजर सेंटर इधर है, रिसर्च सेंटर। यहाँ काम करते हैं, राइट, बहुत लोग। सो और उसके जरिए ये रिसर्च यहाँ से बाहर ले जाते हैं, और मेजर इनका प्रोडक्शन सेंटर भी यहाँ होता है जहाँ इनका प्रोडक्ट्स बनते हैं। ओके। तीसरी बात उस वक्त उस दौरान हुआ वो ये है कि 2000 में हमारा जो उस वक्त के रक्षा मंत्री थे, और जसवंत सिंह साहब, और स्ट्रोप टैलबर्ट जो यूएसए का रक्षा मंत्री थे, इन दोनों के बीच में कुछ वार्तालाप हुआ, दोनों के बीच में एक संबंध शुरू हुआ, और वहां से हमारा स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप विद यूएसए शुरू हुआ। क्यों? और ये एक बड़ा शिफ्ट था हमारे सोच विचार में, क्योंकि उससे पहले हम बिल्कुल रूस की ओर झुकते थे, सोशलिस्ट आउटलुक था, कमांड इकोनॉमी था। 90 के बाद हमारा इकोनॉमी खुलना शुरू हुआ, और उस वक्त का यूनिपोलर वर्ल्ड में यूएसए ने हमें सोचा, यूएसए ने सोचा कि भारत के साथ strategic partnership अनिवार्य है. I still remember what President Obama said at that point of time, that the Indo-US strategic partnership will define the century. It's a it's that kind of a partnership. Okay, so what if? So how did it change? India's GDP started growing, everything, but India grew at its own pace. China and USA had China and India had comparable GDPs. हमारा दोनों का जो GDP डेवलपमेंट सब तकरीबन बराबर था, पर 90 के बाद चाइना उड़ गया और हम धीरे धीरे चलते रहे। ठीक, हम अपने स्पीड पे चलते रहे, उसमें कोई बुरी बात नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर हम अपने स्पीड में नहीं चलते तो यहां तक पहुंचते भी नहीं। पर एक और मेजर शिफ्ट हुआ। ठीक है, स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप बन गया, लोग बोलते थे कि हाँ इंडिया भी बढ़ सकता है वगैरह, पर कोई दिख नहीं रहा था इसका। 2004 में सुनामी हुआ था, उस सुनामी में हम भी प्रभावित हुए। इंडिया ऑल्सो गॉट अफेक्टेड बैडली। Of course, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, all those countries, Malaysia, all of them got affected badly, very badly. But at that time, who responded? US Navy. जब US Navy ने रेस्पॉन्ड किया, उनकी बस की बात नहीं, जितना उनका रिसोर्सेस था उन्होंने सब लगा दिया, उससे आगे चल नहीं पाए। बाकी नेवीज तो छोटे छोटे थे, फिलीपींस ले लो, जापान ले लो, ये सब छोटे छोटे नेवी थे उस वक्त। इसके बावजूद हमारा तटवर्ती इलाकों में बहुत प्रभाव हुआ उस सुनामी का, हमारा नेवी बाहर निकला, और जहां यूएस नेवी पहुंच नहीं सकता था हम पहुंच गए। उस वक्त अंडमान निकोबार में भी हमारा काफी नुकसान हुआ, वो एयरफोर्स बेस तो तकरीबन पूरा बह गया। उसके बावजूद हम गए वहां, और तब जाके सबने आंख खोल के देखा कि भाई यहाँ ये देश है जो प्रभावित होने के बाद भी इतना काम कर रहा है। दैट वाज अ टर्निंग पॉइंट इन द इंटरनेशनल परसेप्शन। और उस वक्त शिंजो एबे ने, जो जापान के प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे उस वक्त, उन्होंने बोला कि भाई क्वाड बनाओ। क्वाड का जो सोच विचार उस वक्त शुरू हुआ, बिकॉज इंडिया हैड demonstrated on an international stage something which no one else had. And here comes the cinch. The Chinese Navy never left the port. एक नाव भी चाइना से बाहर नहीं निकला और चाइना ने किसी को मदद नहीं किया. और ये है आज का सुपर पावर बनने का काम देख रहा है, राइट. और उसके साथ साथ डिजास्टर रिलीफ में हमारा नाम बहुत विश्व प्रसिद्ध हो गया. Everyone said if there's a country which does disaster relief, it is India. Whether we did it in Nepal or elsewhere, even Pakistan. Pakistan में जब earthquake हुआ, we helped them out. Then not only disaster relief, India has picked up its people, its diaspora from every corner of the world whenever there's been a problem, whether it's from Yemen or Ukraine or Wuhan. No other country has done this. Show me one country which has done the kind of evacuations which we have done. Even now, before it could go bad, we have evacuated all Indians from Israel. This is something. We have also helped Maldives to ward off a coup attempt. It is not a simple operation, which people don't understand. If you keep looking at the economy, China looks big. But if you look at other things, your inner strength comes out. Show me equivalent of what we have done that China has done. Nothing. Right? And then, of course, we were always a drug superpower. Today, you are even more. And this capability came out during the pandemic. Chinese vaccinations failed. No one wanted Chinese vaccinations. Vaccines, not vaccinations, vaccines. और सब इंडिया के ओर देखना शुरू किया. Of course, they were looking at USA वगैरह वगैरह, वो अलग बात है. But they started looking at India's vaccination programs. We helped a lot of people out. And we led the way out of the pandemic. And this is what Mike Ryan, who's one of the vice presidents of World Health Organization, had said before the pandemic started. I still have his quote. He said, I expect India to lead the way out of the pandemic. And it was so true. We led the way out of the pandemic. We suffered like everyone else. We made mistakes like everyone else. But at the end, India was at the top. And that is another reason why the Quad came into being. The Quad vaccination thing, right? USA felt, okay, here is a country which means business. And then, of course, you have to also remember from the time of snake charmers, when we were, a country, जब हम सांप सपेरे दिखाते थे, ये भी याद रखिए, हमारे पास खाने के लिए अनाज नहीं था. मेरे को अभी तक याद है, मैं यहाँ कतार में खड़ा होता था कि जाके अनाज लो और चीनी लो, क्योंकि एक फैमिली के लिए सिर्फ हमें 2 kg चीनी मिलता था. एक हफ्ते के लिए 10 याद नहीं है, पर उतना ही मिलता था. और 8-9 kg चावल मिलता था. तब से अभी तक आप देखिए, हम फूड सिक्योर ही नहीं है, हम अनाज को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं. We are the biggest producer of milk in the world. Operation Flood. We never used to have milk. Today you have a surplus of milk. You are not only food secure, you are food surplus, you are exporting. Look at China, which claims itself to be a superpower. It is food insecure. It does not have the capability of, making its own food. Xi Jinping goes every 3 months, he starts bleating. कि भाई अनाज उगा लो, सीड्स बना लो, बीज बना लो, ताकि हम सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हो जाए, और वो हो नहीं पा रहा. और as we go along in this journey, you'll see the new weapon in the face of climate change is food and energy. And in terms of energy, we are energy deficient, there's no doubt. But I can bet my bottom dollar that in a matter of 10-15 years, if our green energy hydrogen mission goes through and I have seen no reason why it will not go through. Or energy problems will, you know, go back to a large extent. There's not only this going ahead. One, the way we have gone to space, why क्यों साउथ पोल जाते हैं स्पेस में? साउथ पोल ऑफ द मून, एनर्जी, पानी, पानी मिल गया तो एनर्जी मिलता है. एंड दे से वाटर इज द ऑयल ऑफ स्पेस. जिस तरीके से हमें गाड़ी चलाने के लिए यहाँ फॉसिल फ्यूल चाहिए, अंतरिक्ष में आपको यू नो चलाने के लिए, स्पेस क्राफ्ट को चलाने के लिए आपको पानी चाहिए. वो whether we get it now or not, may get it next, that's a different story. But हमारा क्षमता है कि साउथ पोल में सोच विचार है कि पानी मिलेगा, इसलिए हमारा जो स्पेसक्राफ्ट जो है चंद्रयान साउथ पोल गया था. सो वी आर लुकिंग एट फ्यूचर. ओके, राइट. पर ये तो स्पेस वगैरह ठीक है, पर हमारा डेमोग्राफी भी देखिए. हमारा जो डेमोग्राफी है, वी आर नॉट ओनली द लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेटेड नेशन इन द अर्थ, और डेमोग्राफी इज फेवरेबल टू अस. अगले 50 साल तक हमारा डेमोग्राफी है, वी हैव द डेमोग्राफिक टेलविंड बिहाइंड अस, और उसका परिणाम और डिविडेंड हमें मिलने वाला है. और इसमें मेरे को दो राय, मेरे को डाउट ही नहीं. बाकियों को डाउट हो सकता है, मेरे को डाउट नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं यहाँ रास्ते में देख रहा हूँ जो लोग जो हैं अपने अपने प्रदेश से बाहर निकल के अपना, दे आर अपग्रेडिंग देयर ओन स्किल्स एंड दे हैव दैट एस्पिरेशन टू राइज. जब लोगों को वो उत्साह हो जाता है, कि उत्सुकता हो जाता है कि मैं आगे, मुझे आगे बढ़ना है, वो कोई ऐसा शक्ति नहीं हूं जो लोगों को रोक सकता है. राइट, ओके. और उसके साथ साथ हमारा डायस्पोरा है जो बाहर गए हैं. आप देखिए, चाहे आयरलैंड में हो, या यूके में हो, या मलेशिया में हो, राइट, या सिंगापुर में हो, या यूएसए में हो, बहुत जगह में, और या कैरिबियन में क्यों ना हो, बहुत जगह में इंडियन मूल के लोग उनके पॉलिटिक्स में और उनके गवर्नमेंट्स में आगे बढ़ रहे. 30 साल पहले क्या आप सोच सकते थे कि दैट इंडियन origin lady could be the vice president of India, of USA? मैं तो ख्वाब भी नहीं देख सकता. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि वो इंडिया के हित में काम करें. हो सकता है हमारे हित में बिल्कुल उल्टा काम करे, क्योंकि वो अपना वाइस प्रेसिडेंट है उस देश का, उस देश का नागरिक है. पर कहीं ना कहीं उस देश में अगर देखिए, यूएसए में ही 2 कांग्रेसमैन हैं, 2-3 गवर्नर्स हैं, वो सब इंडियन मूल के लोग ऊपर आए हैं. और उनके पीछे बहुत लोग एनआरआईज हैं जो उस पॉलिटिक्स में इंक्लूडेड है, और उनका पॉलिटिक्स हमारे साथ फेवरेबल. और यही कहानी यही नहीं, हर जगह है ये. यू सी, उससे क्या है, इंटरनेशनल ओपिनियन अबाउट इंडिया एंड इट्स डायस्पोरा इज ग्रोइंग अप. ठीक, ओके. इसके साथ साथ स्पोर्ट्स देखिए. आप कोई भी बड़ा देश देखिए, कोई अमीर देश देखिए, जैसे देश अमीर होता जाता है और पावरफुल होता जाता है, उसका परफॉर्मेंस स्पोर्ट्स में बढ़ता जाता है. और यही हमारे साथ भी हो रहा है धीरे धीरे. हमारा स्पोर्ट्स अलग है, बाकियों के स्पोर्ट्स अलग हैं, पर अभी पहले बार एशियन गेम्स में 100 मेडल से ज्यादा जीत के आए हैं. मैं 82 या 83 का एशियन गेम्स देख चुका हूँ. उसमें मैं मात्र 10 या 12 मेडल मिले. 10 गुना वृद्धि हो गया. एंड दैट चेंज इज हैपनिंग. इट्स देयर. इट इज एब्सोल्युटली स्टार्क फॉर पीपल. Then you look at our railways. Our railways goes today to almost every corner of the country, and it has, including J&K. I suppose our route right up to Baramulla should open in the next couple of years, because the major bridges across Chenab are bridged. If we gone another 3-4 years, maybe 5 years max, we'll go to the other end, northeast corner of India. And the moment this connection takes place, you will see a change, further change. ये जो टू डू लिस्ट में अभी पे मैं बता रहा हूँ, जहां जहां हम रेलवेज को ले जा सकते हैं, अगर हम ले जाएंगे तो वहां वहां तरक्की होगा। और जहां जहां तरक्की होगा, मेल मिलाप और बढ़ेगा, हमारा अर्थव्यवस्था बढ़ेगा, लोगों का कुशलता बढ़ेगी, और हम एक और पावरफुल देश, और भी पावरफुल बनते जाएंगे। ओके। उसके बाद आप देखिए, वी आर सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इन न्यूक्लियर टेक्नोलॉजी, हमारा खुद का है। वी हैव वी आर सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इन स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी, जो श्री अय्यर जी ने पहले कार्टून दिखाया है। वी ऑल्सो हैव आवर इंडिपेंडेंट मिसाइल प्रोग्राम। मुझे तो बहुत फख्र है कि आई वाज वन ऑफ द इनिशियल आर्मी ऑफिसर्स पोस्टेड इनटू द मिसाइल प्रोग्राम, जो अग्नि 1 और पृथ्वी 1 में हम शारिक हुए थे। अगर उस वक्त का मैं वापस अपना दिमाग ले जाऊं, तो नाउ देयर इज अ ओशन ऑफ अ डिफरेंस। टुडे यू हैव अ स्ट्रेटेजिक फोर्स, SFC, Strategic Force Command, with a complete range of strategic, you know, vehicles. Those days, we were just trying to get bits and parts to put together a missile. I'm talking of 88 to 90, I was there. 33 years, we have changed. We are one of the established nuclear powers of this earth. Okay? And then you see our armed forces. Our armed forces, we have such strong armed forces who are able to operate out of the country, within the country. We have handled disasters, we have handled proxy wars, everything. And Indian armed forces have never lost a war other than 62. How many armed forces can take this credit? 62 was for different reasons, but that's a different story. How many armed forces can say that we've won all the wars we've fought? We also created a country in 14 days back in 71. Look at USA, it has lost all its wars, superpower. Okay? Look at China. Barring that war with us, they've lost all their wars. Okay. Right? And then you see how our democracy has functioned. आज के दिन बहुत बोलते हैं कि हमारे बहुत लोग वेस्ट में बोलते हैं कि इंडिया में डेमोक्रेसी इज गेटिंग diluted, XYZ. Well, show me a country where peaceful transfer of elections has taken place. Even more peaceful transfer of election, power has taken place through the ballot, other than in India. आप देखिए कैपिटल हिल में क्या हुआ, यूएसए में। चाइना की तो बात ही मत करो, रशिया को बात ही मत करो, बाकी इर्द गिर्द जितने देश हैं उनके बारे में बात ही मत करो। पर हमारे देश में सब बोलते हैं मिस्टर मोदी इज ऑल पावरफुल, ये वगैरह वगैरह, बट ही लॉस्ट कर्नाटका इलेक्शंस बिकॉज द डिसीजन of this is with the Aam Admi. Why he lost is a different story. I'm not bothered about it. Tomorrow he might win. That's also I'm not bothered about it. It doesn't matter who comes and rules India. But the person who will be ruling India is the choice of the people. Good, bad or ugly, we can discuss. हमारा ये है, हमारा क्या है, डेमोक्रेसी का शक्ति। हर 5 साल के बाद लोगों को जितने नेता कोई भी हो या ना हो, आपको जाके एक आम नागरिक के सामने भीख मांगना पड़ता है कि भाई मेरे को वोट दे दो। अगर वो वोट नहीं देता तो ये नेता भी नहीं बनता। ये है हमारा शक्ति, जो बहुत कम समझ सकते हैं। समझदार लोग समझ लेते हैं, पर बेवकूफ लोग, उनको क्या कहना। ओके, देन लुक एट पैंडेमिक। पैंडेमिक में तो मैंने बता दिया। अभी देखिए वॉर्स हो रहे हैं यूक्रेन में और इजराइल में। विच इज दैट कंट्री विच हैज गॉन फॉरवर्ड टू टेल प्यूटिन कि ये युद्ध का युग नहीं है। दिस इज नॉट द एरा ऑफ वॉर्स। इट इज आवर प्राइम मिनिस्टर। हैज एनीवन एल्स हैड द गट्स टू टेल प्यूटिन? Haven't we told Netanyahu, we'll be with you, but stop this because we voted against Israel? when things were going bad in Palestine and civilians are getting killed. So this balanced kind of an approach is something important. And we've started getting the peace dividend. Many people say we should have gone to war against Pakistan. If you had gone war against Pakistan, our economy or our power wouldn't have been what it is than what it was. You would have been another Pakistan. Look at Pakistan. For all the wars it has undertaken, what is happening? It's only at war. Its economy is short, everything is short. And we did calibrated offensives against Pakistan, whether it was by Mr. Modi or Mr. Manmohan Singh or before, where we did what was correct, what was necessary at that point of time, and pulled out. Okay? Then you look at this, our entire stance, geopolitical stance in this time, when so many. I showed you this, can you show this slide on India's rise, Sachin? Right? Yeah. Look at it. Not this. Yeah, this map. Look at it. In all these conflicts, we are seen as neutral. We are seen as helping. We are helping people. And this gives us the peace dividend to continue with our rise. Okay, please take it off. And इसीलिए in the recent BRICS summit or the SCO summit or in the G20 summit, everyone was looking towards India. Let me take one by one. We've arrived after these 3 summits in the same year. We have to understand that. Okay. In the SCO summit, Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, you took a stand not to allow China to put that phraseology which suits it. You said nothing to do with BRI in the summit declaration, or nothing to do with those civilizational initiative or the security initiative or the development initiative of Xi Jinping can figure. We stopped them. And China had no choice but to go back. Right? And in the BRICS, we stopped the UN from going where it wanted to go. And in G20, on the very first day, we had a declaration ready, where everyone thought nothing will happen. So अगर आप ये सब देखेंगे तो our leadership is important. Even in this Israel-Hamas war, Prime Minister Modi has started talking to everyone in the Middle East in his own way. We don't have to be in the forefront because we are not in the forefront of this war. We have spoken to the Iran president, President Riasi. We have spoken to UAE. We have spoken to Israel, of course. We also made an outreach to Palestine because we need peace. And in all this, we are coming out as a country with a huge amount of power, but capable of being neutral and with an outreach to the global south. And last but not the least, we also brought Africa, right, the African Union, into the G20 as a full-fledged member. And when that happened, the president of the African Union declared that India is a superpower. I don't think we are a superpower, but he's declared that's his feeling. So, अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये सब कुछ पीछे से अभी तक is the rise of India, the change of India. बहुत लोग आप में से होंगे, I am very clear, I am very sure, who will say नहीं नहीं यार ये तो बकवास कर रहा है ये मूंछों वाला जनरल. पर मेरी नजर से ऐसे देखिए, तब से लेकर अभी तक इंडिया में क्या बदलाव हुआ है पिछले 40-50 साल में हमें पता है, और आगे क्या होगा वो भी बड़ा क्लियर है. राइट? सो व्हाट विल डू, श्री जी, आप इसके ऊपर अगर आपके कुछ विचार हैं और आपके कुछ प्रश्न हैं तो पूछ लीजिए. After this, we will take on what we need to do ahead.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Two things I wanted to tell our viewers. Number one, the 1971 war that resulted in liberation of Bangladesh also cost India dear in terms of shellacking the economy, especially after 1973, when the OPEC came into existence and oil started becoming a much more expensive commodity. So wars have a price. Today, India hasn't seen it. Probably two or three generations haven't seen it. So you all think that, oh, we should go and, bash Pakistan here, do it there. We should get back, be okay. All those things, they have a price. And I think that's what General is, highlighting and underlining, saying that this is not something that you want to take it lightly. Second thing is my humble request to all of you who are going to be voting in the elections, whichever elections it is. Remember, peace pays. Peace always pays. And if there is a party which is saying that just to come to power, I'm going to divide us, that's not going to pay peace dividends. This is very important. I'm not taking any one name. I'm just saying that please weigh your vote carefully and cast it to the person who can best provide India the peace dividend. That's all India needs to do. In fact, General left out a couple of things that I'm going to jump on. Israel wants 100,000 workforce from India. Taiwan wants 100,000 workforce from India. These negotiations are very close to being, done. Japan will follow, we think. Europe will follow, we think. And I think most likely UK and US also, where the US system of H1s might be regularized in a slightly different way. All these countries have tried, other methods, and those have not worked. So the next one is regulated employment, where you're going to be in a place for 3 years, you will get paid something like this, and then you come back. These things will start spurring the next set of startups in India, because you get exposed to that professionalism for 3 years, 4 years. You know how to take something from your mind to the product to the masses. This is my view of this, sir. I think you've done an excellent job so far, so I yield the floor back to you. We have a few questions, but we'll take that thing later. Let's not
Yeah,
look at time, because this is important that we look at it from complete
yeah, yeah.
360-degree view. Growing up, I completely agree with General Ravi Shankar. How many days I have to go and stand in the ration line? That was your only source of rice. Sugar especially was the most difficult thing to obtain. You had to go in the line, and they don't give you a lot. You give it every week. You have to go there. It was a nightmare. Sir, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Now, let's see what do we have to do to continue this rise. See, as India grows as a great power, and it will be a great power, the first thing you need is a strong armed force. If your armed forces don't have that strength, we will not be a great power. I keep telling ये जो सवाल जो है मैं सबसे इट्स अ रेटोरिक पूछ बताता रहता हूँ क्या हैज इज इंडिया और आर द आर्म फोर्सेस ऑफ इंडिया strong enough to defend the nation? The answer is yes, we can defend the nation. But are the armed forces of India modern enough to ensure India's rise to be a great power? Not yet. That's the difference. देश को रक्षा करने के लिए वी कैन डू, वी हैव डन इट. पिछले 75 साल से करते आए हैं, अगले 75 साल भी करेंगे. पर अगर बड़ा शक्ति बन के उभर के आना है तो वी हैव टू मॉडर्नाइज आवर आर्म फोर्सेस. ये जो मॉडर्नाइजेशन ऑफ आर्म फोर्सेस में हम अभी तक थोड़ा पीछे हैं. इसमें मेरे को दो राय नहीं है. इसमें वी हैव टू डू मोर. दूसरी बात, अगर इंडिया को आगे बढ़ना है तो वी हैव टू बी वेरी क्लियर. ये जो क्लाइमेट चेंज जो है हमारे सर पे आ रहा है भूत की तरह, ये पूरा दुनिया में आ रहा है. अभी से हमें प्रिपेयर करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि क्लाइमेट चेंज में हमारा पानी का जो व्हाट वी कैन गेट आउट ऑफ आवर रिसोर्सेज is going to get constricted. We will not have the same water resources which we have today. It could get affected. Seasons could get affected. So we have to prepare for climate change so that our basic food doesn't get affected, output, and we remain an exporter in times to come. So that means your water conservancy schemes, water transfer schemes, and your water management systems in the country have to change. Third, your digital economy. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, one small aside, because many people don't know this. India has one of the highest per capita water as a resource in the world, despite being the most populous country in the world. So, water management that you touched upon is a very important point. And I'll finish this in just 1 second. Do you know, viewers, that so much water flows into the Bay of Bengal from Ganga and Brahmaputra that the saline content in the sea there is very, very low. That is why the salt became such a big deal in 1930s. You had to make the salt outside to bring it into Bengal and
Yes,
Bihar and so on.
exactly.
Salt was not available. The water. So what I'm trying to say is, I believe 85 to 90% of the water still flows into the sea from all the rivers. So that is something that India needs to really, really take a look at, and also they need to do water desalination solutions. There are many good ones coming up, not the one that people will say, oh well, it is going to kill aquatic life and all that. There are more kinder, gentler, better solutions also coming. Recently, I read something in MIT. That is something that India should be looking at. Sir, back to you.
Yeah, so water management, I'm not going into the micro issues of water management, how it is done, but we need to do it. The third thing which we have to do is digital economy. We have to digitize our economy further. And digital systems and information technology and this entire business of IT is our strength. We have not exploited it enough. We have not made good on our capabilities. Yeah, there is no doubt that today India is a leader in digitalization. We do more transactions in India than all over the world. That's not a thing. It's great. We have changed, but we need to do more digital penetration. The more digitized we get, the better it is. I'm not decrying the fact that we are not at fully digitized, but you need to do more. Okay. The third thing is our politics. I'm not a rightist, I'm not a leftist, I'm not a centrist either. I have no view on politics. Whatever view I have, I keep it to myself and I express it only when I vote. But what do I see? I see a huge divide amongst our politics, polarized politics. Even at times of national necessity, they don't come together. That is something which India has to find a way of getting around. Because our polarization is not only on politics, it is on caste lines, it is on religious lines, it is on everything. The thing which most of us need to realize is you can't wish the other man away in our country. We have so many religions, so many different people, so many languages, so many ethnicities, so many tribes that none of us, irrespective of where we come from, you can wish the other man away or woman away. If we do that, we are seeding troubles for ourselves. And what I see in the past 15, 20 years, maybe even 30 years, this is on the rise. And that is something which worries me. I've been all over the country, northern corner, southern corner, eastern, western, every place. All four corners of India, right from Indra Call to Indra Point, Tibetu to Dwarka, I've been. I've seen the length and breadth of this country. And wherever I've gone, every Indian respects the flag. He respects the national anthem. Okay. But when it comes to our constitution, also he respects. But when it comes to these ethnicities, religion, tribe, we're divided. We need to rise above all this. At some level, our leaders have to show the way so that we go as a united India. We might have problems inside, we can sort it out. But we need to go have a united India which is projected to the world outside. Right. Then, of course, what are our strengths? Health is our great strength. You have to maximize on this. Drugs and pharmaceuticals are your strength. You have to maximize on this. In fact, these are your strategic strengths which you have to maximize on, right? So these are the few issues which I thought we could do. There would be more. I'm not saying that these are the only thing which we have to work on. Our communications need to improve, and which we have improved quite a bit, but we need to do much more. We have to focus on our energy. Today, we are an energy deficient nation. We need to go into a place where at least energy neutral, whether it's thorium based energy, and we are the biggest repository of thorium in the world, and technology, thorium based energy, space based energy, hydrogen energy, or fossil fuel refining, whatever we have to become energy neutral at some point of time, or renewables, right? So all these is something which we have to really look at seriously. And if you ask me, are we doing? Most of the times we are doing, but there are places we're not doing. So I hope we have leaders in the future who can get this going in the right direction. I think that's all I have, Shreyaji. You can ask any questions or clarifications. You can add on, and then we'll take questions.
Sir, you have very aptly covered every sector, sir, and I think progress is happening. Some things perhaps a little bit faster. But I think the most important thing is the mindset of the people who are, the politicians of India. There is India first has to come really through, not just in statement but also in deeds. That is what we are looking for, and that's where you are going to get progress. I think let's take some questions, sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Questions, please. Bhartiya Yatri, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Shivmit, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Tiger Hawk, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Dakshinamurti AL wants to know, is much talked about dubious funding collection reports in movies a real national security issue? Could you both share your views?
Look, in my view, it's not a national security issue. It's just fudging here and there. So I don't think it's a great issue which is of that. It's more economic, fraud. That's about all.
Yeah, I think it's already being addressed. UPI. So, what can you as a citizen do? Don't use currency. Try and see if you can use digital payments. First of all, it is more efficient. Second of all, you don't need to, carry a lot of money with you and then grapple with this, not sufficient change on the other side, where you get an eclairs in exchange for a 5 rupee note or something like that. I'm just making it up.
That season
So,
has gone.
yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, these days I go around all over the country. In my purse, I hardly have 200-300 rupees. I use GPay everywhere, or even I don't even use a credit card these days. Even credit card is pass. Okay, GPay. इससे के साथ काम चलता है अपना. Everywhere, wherever you go. So it's not a big deal. What you're saying is we have gone past that, and we're going
Next
very
one.
fast past.
Yes, yes. Very, very true. Very true. Next one, please. Dakshinamurti again. Is a space war a reality? If so, how well is India prepared in this game?
Space war is not a reality. Space war is absolutely fictional. For the simple reason, uh, we have not come to this level where space weapons can be deployed in a manner which are safe to your own systems, or cannot be employed in a manner which are safe to your own systems, right? So no country will today venture into space wars. What we'll use is space for war. That's a different story. But war in space is farther away, maybe another 50, 60 years.
I think General just had a power outage, so we'll just wait for a second. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, or if you have not liked this video, I request you to like this video. We are waiting for General for him to regain power. Sometimes it comes back right away. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. So That's all we have right now. Let's wait for a few minutes for the general to reconnect. One of the things that
Yeah.
yeah. Next question, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a power cut here because there's a gale blowing. So I think the power has been taken off. So you'll
Yes.
find me a little dark. So, but we'll go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Akash Krishan Tadani wants to know the IIT/IIM graduates still leave for foreign shores, resulting in a brain drain for us. Ways and means to stop this, or at least reduce the rate of this brain drain. Your views?
Look, this is an old notion. ये कहानी है पुराना है ये है हो नहीं रहा हमारा प्रॉब्लम ये है आज के दिन कि बहुत लोग जा नहीं रहे हैं बाहर people are not going out you see unless our students go out learn new things outside 5-10 years later they can't come back with enhanced knowledge to contribute to your own system today it's the other way around we're not sending enough people out okay what the second thing is I don't want IIT guys also all to stay here and do nothing they go out gain experience come back and contribute and the real product of IIT which we are now looking at is not the BTech guys the MTech and the PhD guys the focus of all IITs in India is now to expand that like it has happened in USA we are copying that model to some extent we want that to expand so that we have more of research than just good brains immature brains that's our thing yeah
Next one, please. Jagpreet Vatrana wants to know, General Shankar sir, what are possible roadblocks in this decade that we have to overcome?
Yeah, I've told you the first roadblock which we have to overcome is our own internal problems or internal fissures, like what's happening in Manipur. We didn't need that. It has happened. That's a different story. I'm not going to get involved with it. We don't need it. There are many things more. That's just the one. There are many more, like what's happening in Punjab. It was thrust on us. So these are the roadblocks which we will face. Let's be clear, it is not going to be a smooth run. We will have, for a country as big as ours, we will continue to have these problems. So let's not hope that nothing will happen and hereafter it's all happiness. No. China and Pakistan will continue to trouble us. Pakistan might have its own problems. China might have its own problems. But we have to be on guard against both these entities. If we have two adversaries or enemies or whomever, whatever you want to call them, that is Pakistan and China, who will go to all extents, all lengths to ensure that your rise is stymied. And in this decade, if we can handle these two, we're broken out. The rest of the things, I think, we'll be able to handle without any problems. Yeah.
Next one, please. Sriharsha wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. Should India have more submarines or aircraft carriers?
Both. We need to have both. We need to have a balance between the two, right? And let me tell you, the Indian Navy is quite balanced in the way it's progressing. Don't worry.
Next one, please. JBJP wants to know, General sir, you mentioned water needs in future of Bharat. Why then in IMEC it was announced that Bharat intends to send Narmada River water to Dubai in future? Gujarat itself is a water scarce state.
Yeah, this is news to me. I
In the
never
past.
heard that. I have not heard this statement that India wants to send Narmada River water to Dubai. I have not heard this, to be very honest. So I'll not be able to comment on it. The way I look at it, I don't think it can. Yeah.
Thank you, thought provocateur. Did we, in the zeal to be Vishwamitra, end up helping snakes like Turkey and nations like Sri Lanka, which either stabbed us in the back or ditched us?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. Sri Lanka has not ditched us. You must also understand, Sri Lanka is in a problem of its own. It is so heavily indebted to China that China can, twist its arm and tail both together. So it has to play a game, right? And it has to survive. So I don't think that Sri Lanka has ditched us, right? The mood in Sri Lanka has changed to some extent. We'll have some leftover problems. That's part of the deal. Well, Turkey, we did it for humanitarian purposes. Turkey can say what it wants, but our image in the globe has become better. Our image, our international image, because of this, has become better. So look at it from that point of view. Okay.
Farclay 35 wants to know, General Shankar, why is artillery corps so much against Indian howitzers? They always find excuses for foreign product, but Indian products have to go through fires of hell to prove their worth.
No, I don't agree with you. I think you have a completely 100% wrong idea. Firstly, we are not against Indian howitzers. You're looking at a guy who started off the program, Dhanush, when others were not there. That's 100% Indian if you don't know. Okay. We've started off Sharang, which is also 100% Indian, made by OFB. Both these orders have been given. So how can you say it is not Indian oriented? Then we've gone in for K9 Vajra, which is 50% Indian. This is all when others were not coming. Okay, so we can't go right. And the only gun which we bought from outside is M777. But today, let me tell you, M777 is also Indian gun because all the parts of M777 are made in India, incidentally. Okay, so don't think that just because one odd gun which has been made by some fellow, or I know where you're getting. You were talking of Kalyani and Bharat Forge guns. Let me explain something to you. You people must understand. When we put out the RFP for all the other guns, at that time, Kalyani and Bharat Forge did not have a gun. They did not have a gun. So those RFPs and those programs went through. So because those programs went through, you're talking of a time because all these programs started somewhere around 2006, 2007, or in fact even before. They didn't happen over. They don't happen overnight. Every program takes 10 to 15 years to crystallize, and all these programs, all went through 4 to 5 phases of trials. If you do not know, so Farkleji, you don't know. So that's why I'm telling you. I'm going through these details. Very tough trials. We go that is indisputable. And unless those trials are met, whether it's an Indian gun or a foreign equipment or an Indian equipment, we don't accept anything. So all these went. So something at 2006, 2007, Bharat Forge didn't even have the capacity to make a gun, incidentally, if you don't know. Okay. So those guns which we started procurement process in that time came to fruition when 2014-15. And they are in the process of being delivered at various stages. And I know this well because I piloted all these programs. And who was the Raksha Mantri at that point of time? It was Mr. Manohar Parrikar. If you don't know, I have gone to all the factories which make guns, including Bharat Forge. By the time Bharat Forge came about to make a gun, you can't just start making a gun and say you buy it now. The governments don't function like that. You have a plan. You have to buy as per a plan. And we are buying now as per a plan. There's an RFP out for towed guns. And that towed guns is only for Indian guns. So how can you say again this nonsense? I'm calling it nonsense because you don't know. I'm very clear on what I'm talking. They said 400 guns. We'll go in for it. And it is only open for Indian manufacturers. And anyone can opt for it. Anyone has to show their capability. They'll go through trials and then only will buy. Then we have gone in for 800 odd mounted gun systems. Again, we said Indian. So, this concept that you have and this wrong notion which you have that Indian artillery is buying somewhere else is absolutely wrong, 100% wrong. Okay, I hope I answered. If you don't want to understand, then all the best to you.
Raman wants to know, respected sir, why can't we develop a spacecraft which can run on nuclear fuel so that we need not depend on solar energy? I hope DRDO and BARC can co-develop a spacecraft in future in our
Yeah,
lifetime.
have you seen a nuclear reactor? What goes into it? Okay, a nuclear reactor in space is the most complex thing which you can think of. Okay, you have to control that nuclear reactor, and then that has a time. This thing. So, what do you do with the nuclear fuel? Everything. So, if the best, uh, energy fuel which you have in space is solar energy, so you're using it. The second best is water because you can hydrolyze water, get hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen becomes the propellant, and then you can use it. That's what the whole story of going to moon is all about. Okay, like in fuel cells, you can make energy out of water. Fuel cells is all breaking up hydrogen and oxygen and reforming them to make energy. These are the only two viable sources of energy up there. You need to get nuclear material from moon or any asteroids or anywhere else to make energy here. That's one of the things which people are searching for. So it's the other way around, Raman. Yeah.
Next one, please. Sri Sundaram wants to know, India should consider a similar format of military training that Israel mandates for its youth. What stops India making it mandatory for youth to join army? Is vote bank politics a stumbler?
See, you have to understand, Sri Sundaram, that Indian Army is just about 10 to 12 lakhs, whereas our unemployed youth are so much, right? So we can't make it mandatory for them to join. It's the numbers don't go. And secondly, even if you make it mandatory to join, they might not, fit the bill due to physical constraints and physical fitness and other things also. There's a whole selection process to take us in. It's okay for Israel. Israel doesn't have population. That's not our problem. So there's no old vote bank politics, right? We have and in fact, the Israeli model is actually a flawed model. We must understand that. Why is it a flawed model? Because that model is flawed. It actually suits Israel because of the small population. It doesn't suit us at all. We need a professional army. You're going to be a great power. You need a professional army which stays for a long time. So there's a difference. You just can't compare Israel with us. Israel is at the end of the day a small nation.
Next one, please. Srinivas Vithala wants to know, General Shankar, does India have any commitment to support friends and allies in military conflicts?
Yeah, we don't have any alliances. It's our national policy not to have alliances, military alliances with anyone. We're not going to have an alliance with USA. We're not going to have an alliance with Japan. We're not going to have an alliance with anyone. However, we support our friends and allies when the time comes. Look at 71. We supported and created Bangladesh. It's a major war we undertook. We undertook this war not for us. Undertook this war for Bangladeshis. Okay? Second, look at Maldives. When Maldives was under a coup, we went and interjected ourselves and intervened and restored the government. Okay? So, we will when the time comes. Also, look at it. We've evacuated people from war zones. And when we evacuated people, we evacuated others also. Incidentally, from Ukraine, we have also evacuated Pakistanis.
Yes, we did. We did.
We did. So we have our own method, and this is our autonomy. This is our strategic autonomy. We don't need alliances. We need partners. We don't need alliances. Tomorrow, if there's a war with Pakistan or China, We don't expect US troops to come and fight. We don't want them, in fact. We don't need them. We can do it on our own. What we need from USA as partners, a certain amount of intelligence, certain amount of other issues, support, international support, and things like that. Once given that, we'll do it on our own. Not to worry.
Next one, please. Sriharsha again. We keep hearing about some lobby called Chandigarh Lobby of Indian Army who keeps pressurizing central government to purchase arms and its spare parts from abroad than Bharat made. Is it true?
It is all bunk. I have not heard of a Chandra. Look, I've been in this procurement game from 2008, 7, 8. I know everything what happens there. Even now, I'm dealing with the procurement system as part of IIT. I do a lot of projects for the Indian Army for indigenization. And I would like to tell everyone that we are at the cusp of making some technology for the Indian Armed Forces, which is not available anywhere else in the world. We have proven the technology. We are now going into full scale. We've so far proven it on a half scale model, which itself by itself could be a full scale for some other purpose. But we are going in for the full scale testing in a matter of a month or two. So I know what happens, in this process. People keep calling me. I'm called many times to enclaves. In fact, on Saturday also, no, Friday I'm going to the Synergia conclave for a talk. Like a lot of people keep calling me as expert speaker in many of the national conclaves on armament, okay, and weapons, ammunition, etc., etc., etc. So I know what's happening. So this is all. A lot of people loosely talk about this Chandigarh lobby and all. It's not so. Yeah.
Next one, please. Jayant Rao, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. And I think that
Yeah.
brings us to a close of today's program. General Ravi Shankar, it was a revelation, flat out from my bottom of my heart. And viewers, I hope you got the 360-degree view where we are, where we need to go. And I think that is the most important takeaway from here. We learned our lessons in India, and we don't almost always go on the straight line. We kind of tend to zig and zag our way, but there is always forward progress. That's my experience, having lived long enough to understand how India works. But the more we become straight, the faster we will go to our destination. Thank you once again, General Ravi Shankar. We'll be back again talking about China. Part 4, I think, is the next one that General Ravi Shankar and I will be co-hosting. So do come join us and send in your comments after watching the program. Sir, in conclusion, if you'd like to say something.
No, I'm fine. I look forward to the part 4 of our thing, and that will be on geopolitics.
Yes.
China and its geopolitics and how they constrain China from becoming a superpower. But then we'll wait till then.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.